I'm not going to get old gracefully. My favorite poem about getting old and going down hard is Dylan Thomas. Is Rage Against the Dying of the Light. That you don't want to, you don't want to get old. You don't want to die. Things become clear to you what motivates you more, and you get more honest with who you are and your limits and all that. You know, I've always kind of pushed myself, you know, pretty hard, and I've always believed in doing things by hand, and I just overdid it like the last year, and that's to do with fixing machinery and my wrists began to hurt, and then I kept ignoring it and imagining it would go away, and it kept getting worse. So I was kind of worried maybe, because it was, when I thought of doing something now like splitting wood, I knew it was going to hurt. So never did before, you know. Once again, denial is a wonderful thing, but you know, when it breaks down, you got to deal with the problem. So I probably let it go a little bit too long. And when you brought me these braces, and all of a sudden I have some hope that I can fix it. My name is Vince McIntyre. I'm 67 years old, born in the west of Ireland. I'm a farmer, and I do woodworking, a jack of all trades, you might as well call me. Yeah. When I decided to make a living farming, I have to go back to my childhood and how I started. I come from the west of Ireland, and when I come to southern Ontario, I work for farmers. Immigrant kids, it was quite common for them to work at an early age, because that's what we did in the old country. I found this place by accident and decided to camp here. I've been here since 1979. That must be over 30 years, I guess. Yeah. When Amber was, you know, my daughter was 2.5 years old, I'd brought her up here because my girlfriend at the time, we were, both of us were homeless, and I was wondering where we were going to spend the winter. There was an old man in Johnson's Landing. He wanted me to get him some poles for his chicken house to build, and he knew there was nice straight cedar poles up here. So I take Amber up here and we get some poles, but in the process Amber forgets her red shoes. I had to bring her back up here to get her red shoes, so I brought my girlfriend up here, and I was just wanting to see how she felt about the place, and she was just totally amazed by the place. So from there I knew it was both of us like it here. So, and then this was in October of 1979, so we wanted to make a camp. It feels very permanent in the sense that it feels like home. This is most at home I feel any place since I left the place I was born. You know, it seems like a lot of work to people when they think about packing water and splitting wood and doing stuff. Time consuming. Most people in today's world, they don't have time for all that effort and live their other lives, And I've got used to it. I learned certain skills that made it easier, and I find that hauling water in a bucket is much easier than fixing plumbing, for instance. You have to adapt rather than try and adapt the world to you. You have to adapt to the situation. Yeah, I figure working from the heart and working with a sense of freedom is, you gotta have the balance, You have to have the discipline to get up in the morning when you have to. You have to be courageous, and you have to put up with discomfort and all this stuff. And then you have to see what you're doing as being fairly important, and maybe a part of your survival, and then you can do what I do. I have a number of young people out there farming today, and they learned a lot of their skills working with me and applied them. Yeah. People I work with have to become really important to me. They have to be exceptional people, then, and they have to have what it takes somehow, you know. Probably another reason why I'm not fond of machinery and tractors and so on, because it cuts out your communication with people. Though I find that the more mechanical advantages you get, the less need you have to communicate with people. So it dehumanizes the whole thing, and I think that's what's wrong with, one of the things that's wrong with industrial agriculture, is it's a lonely life. You might think that I spend a lot of time on my own, but I don't. Yeah, most of my connection with people is through the stuff I do. That swamp, it's man-made. I made it. It wasn't there when I come here. For me, that's a wonderful thing, and it's my daughter's favorite place is the swamp. She's a swamp hopper. If she meets somebody that she likes, she wants to see who they are. She takes them to the swamp. They like if they have a watery spirit, you know, she's like that. Yeah. When she was young, I'd take her down there in the evening to listen to the frogs, the toads sing in the evening, and would put her to sleep. Yeah, it's beautiful. To me, the biggest tragedy is that there's people today that they don't know why they're alive. It leaves people helpless. That it's all about fun, and what we do is fun. Sure, it's backwards. Yeah. If you want to call it that, yeah. The way I live isn't ideal. It has drawbacks. It would be much better if I had my farm all in one place and I could look out on it and go out there and see my cattle every day, but I don't have that. So I make the best of what I do have, and I enjoy my experience going out there every day in the winter. It's a good experience. I get to see the flats and the beauty of the natural world, and the river flowing, and the changes in the weather, and the birds coming in the spring, and I see my cattle out there, and it's like going to visit them. You know, it's almost better than living with them, you know, in some ways, even though it's might be not totally practical. It's an enjoyable experience. Well, I don't remember having you know, second thoughts about this place. Right from the start, I was committed, and then when it become a challenge, then you know, I'm a very stubborn by nature, and then well, I'll see who's going to win this. So that was my attitude. If I'm going to leave, I'm not going to leave easy. That was in my attitude, and still is. Yeah. I've told somebody, if they ever drag me out of here, they can fix the road with me going down.